Oh, let me give the sounds that I use in my sounds spelling alphabet, so to speak. And let me give because I've got more vowels than letters, which was a problem for English, of course. Anyway, we only had 5 vowels, really. And we'd be using, I don't know, double that. More than that, because we had all sorts of foreign language words in our incorporated into our language. In fact, it was all foreign, really. I expect the original language was shifted out when the people fled from the invaders, you know, whether they were Romans, Saxons, Danes, Normans, Vikings, whatever it was. Okay, bear with me because it may be a bit disjointed, this. Well, I want to start with the R sound, which I've used as double A, as in the word far. And the next one, or, as in August, but the letters therefore AU. The next one is a semi-vowel, sort of partial vowel, and it's a catch-all for poor speech, really, poor pronunciation. As in better. You know the way we say better? It's so it's EU. I'm using, of course, the English letter alphabet that we're used to, because I'm thinking I can't really introduce symbols, new symbols for each of these vowels, because we might want to produce them on an ordinary, if you like, keyboard, typewriter type setup. So, or for August, and EU, as in better. It crops up in a lot of words, actually, the as in should, I would write should as SH, EU, D, the ud bit, not just a D or even double D, you know. You could, and I do, for economy of letters and speed of writing, very often simply double the following consonant. So I would spell should actually as SH, EU, D, but actually I'd write it as SH, double D, should. In other words, I double the D to indicate the Okay, there's many cases of that sort of thing. The sound of as we've said, is EU, R. Again, I would write it as just double R. Sometimes we have the sort of sound us, as in obviously. Well, the us, I would actually not put yet another E in there. I would put simply double S. And how about attention? I wouldn't write it as EUN. I'd write it as simply double N. And another good one, good. G double D, books. B double C, S, books. Ul is a sound too, you see. Able, I would put it, the ending would be B double L. Ul, double L, you see. Okay, so that's an interesting one. It's, as I say, a sort of semi-vowel, EU. So we've got R, as in double A, or, as in AU, and something like EU are simply doubling the consonant that would follow such a sound. Well, the next one is the sound oi, and I follow the word oil in English for this. Oi is O-I, and another new sound is, well, not so new, as in our things, so O-U for our, O-U. And I have a single sentence that covers all of these vowels. Our oil and coal sold far better in August. And that sentence uses all of those vowels spelt in this soundz fashion. Okay. Well, there's nothing much that's very new. The next lot of letters I would put in are mostly ones that we follow anyway. So, for instance, ch is ch, sh is sh, the is an interesting one. We use th and we stick an e on the end, but I would just use, for the sound, the, th, but I would distinguish when we want to mean th, as in things. I would put double th there. Simply, that's what I use for that sound. Okay, so you could say that's new, couldn't you? I mean, obviously the sound's not new, but to represent it as a double th, I don't think there's any English word that does that. And finally, the only other one is what you might find is a bit strange. Sometimes we don't say sh, it's more like je, as in confusion. Je. I use zh for the je. Confusion. Got that? The bit, well, I'd actually probably prefer to use double N there. You could pronounce it as confusion and write on, O-N. Or if you tend to, as I think most people do, say confusion, then you write the ZH and double N, indicating it's a it's a poor vowel between the je and the n. Okay, so there's those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 compound consonants, if you like. They're made up of symbols that we're used to on the keyboard. But, yeah. So we've got some new vowels, which we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 new vowels if we include the sort of semi-vowel of and 5 compound consonants. So they're the compound letter sounds. And then, well, the rest is just the same as the normal English alphabet. You know, B, C, D, F, G, H. I've left out, of course, K, because there's no need. K, if you wanted to say that as a sound, you'd say C-A-Y, K. A-Y is A. Ah. No, I have to deal with the short and the long vowels that we're used to, don't we? The short vowels. A, E, I, O, A. As in, can pets sit on us? Absolutely the same as English, right? And then the long vowels are A, E, I, O, oo. As in, say, quotes, see my snow boots, close quotes. Now, the A sound is not just an A letter on its own, because that would be A, as in can. If I want to give the A sound, I put AY. When it comes to the E sound, I follow the word in English called see, S-E-E, to see something. So the E sound is double E. I can't just put I down. That won't be pronounced as I, but I. If I want I put IY. I. Okay? And O, again, I can't just put O. I put OW, as in snow, and oo, as in boots, double O. So, the one that uses them in order is say, quotes, see my snow boots, close quotes. Right. That's it. The rest, B, C, D, F, G, H, and so on, are the same as in English, and as I was English spelling normally. And as I was about to say, there's no K because you can use K for the K sound, hard K, K. And there's no Q because you can use C, Y, double O, Q, U, Q. Or if you want the K sound, well, obviously you use C, not a letter Q. So there's no need to have that in the alphabet either. So there's no K, there's no Q, and there's no X. If you want the name of the letter X as we have used it, you would put E, C, S, X, X. How else do we use the sound X? Not sure. Exit, well, just do that. E-C-S-I-T, exit. Yeah. That's it. You can learn that in 10 minutes. If you're a slow learner, you could learn it in an hour, but I mean, it doesn't take long. And then we have a unique correspondence between spelling and sound. And that makes things far easier. Right. Let me hope that this is not chaotic and have a look at see what I've recorded. Yeah, well, I was forgetting that I can simply put this summary up instead of the usual picture on the screen, and you can see very easily what the system is. And let me labour just for a minute the advantages. The incredible amount of time kids spend learning to read becomes absolutely minimal. You can learn to read in less than a day. If you're an adult, new to the language, the sounds are as follows. Just that page in front of you on the screen. And they always keep the rules, utterly, consistently. It makes spelling a breeze. You don't have to learn your 6,000 to 16,000 words that you use in your speech, how to spell each word, whether the rules hold, what rules might hold and when, and all those complicated things. It's just as easy as that sheet of paper before you on the screen. And another advantage is that we can preserve accents now. And I might say that in that sense, because we're going to represent the sounds that people make, not some God-given law of how to spell the English language, which changes through time and is, of course, ignored by Americans and so forth. They spell it their way, quite reasonably. Well, a bit more reasonably than English anyway. But what was I going to say? We can now not be tied down to it has to be spelt in a certain way, but rather like speech. If you can understand my accent, well, I don't have to worry about changing my accent. We don't all have to speak home counties, King's English. from a practical point of view, provided you can be understood as in normal speech. If it's clear enough to be understood, then it can be written the same way, because that's how you speak. You can honour how a person speaks now. You can represent the sounds correctly, in some sense, consistently. So I know from the way you've spelt the words how you are pronouncing the words. I think that's great. An added bonus. Accents needn't die out, and we don't have to abide by some authoritative statement as to how this word is to be spelt. It's spelt the way it's understood. And that can be a variety of ways, even on the same page. You know, I might use EU at one point because it distinguishes this sound better than if I simply double the consonant that follows. Because I get, 3 E's in a row and it looks chaotic, perhaps. Incidentally, if you do get 3 E's in a row, well, the first two takes priority, so it's E instead of, it's E instead of E. That's the rule. There are occasions when you get strings of vowel letters next to each other and you might be puzzled. But if the first two can make a single sound, then that's the sound it's meant to be. If you did want it the other way around, supposing you did want a word, I can't think of it offhand, E in it, then you would probably hyphenate it, put a dash in. I don't think you'd put a comma in there. I think a dash would be quite a good idea. I don't know. But they are so rare I can't even think of them. Yeah. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.